Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our live lesson for Thursday, January the 18th. I'm hoping to take this this time in terms of this lesson to go over your four stages of art criticism. So it is a founding foundation in any art course that you take, and I truly think that the skills and application of taking something and breaking it down and thinking critically about it, I mean, yes, is integral for art. But I think there's skills and applications that can be applied to any course you take. So it's the idea of just looking back at what you're doing, what you're looking at, and breaking it down, and how do we apply that? How do we support our own opinions on that? So what I'm going to do is I am going to flip my screen, so you're not going to see me, but you are going to, I'm going to go into our course, our content, and then go from there. So 1 second as I flip here. Hang on 1 more second. One more second. There we go. Okay, so we are just officially in our course, and always nice to see your own face right in the middle of a screen, especially sideways. And yes, I'm still doing that on purpose. Going into content, I'm going to go right down here to our Unit 4, Looking versus Seeing. There we go. 4 stages of art criticism. So what you're going to notice for this particular unit is you are, in fact, going to submit one practice. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay. One practice sheet. And the intention with that is that I can help give you some feedback. So then when you do it again for your final copy, where it is, in fact, graded, then you sort of have an idea and a direction as to what I'm expecting. Because it is to be completed, and there are very specific things you need to kind of consider. So, is this even the one that I wanted? Sorry, guys, that's not the one that I wanted. My apologies. Let's go back. It's actually the one before. It was the example I wanted to go through. My apologies again. Just going to go down. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so with the 4 stages of art criticism, there are 4 stages. Number 1 is describe, number 2 is analyze, number 3 is interpret, number 4 is evaluate. When you are describing, I know that it actually might seem super obvious that you're just basically describing what's in front of you, but because this is art, that is actually part of it. It is literally describing what you see. And not everybody, believe it or not, actually sees the same thing. Some people miss certain things. Some people look at things from a different perspective. So part of that, in terms of this section, you are literally just describing what is in front of you. You're not adding any emotion. Oh, I think that the dove means this. No, nothing. You are literally just saying, I see a beach in the background. I see a melting clock on my left-hand side in the foreground of this image, etc. You are literally describing only the things that are in front of you. So the example I have used is by Dali, The Persistence of Memory, and just go through that. And it also needs to be in a proper paragraph, not a couple sentences. You are completing this in proper paragraph form. Number 2 is analysis. Now, with the analysis, you are being very, very specific to the elements and principles of design. So I want to hear terminology, words, key phrases like line, space, harmony, unity. That's what we're looking for in this. So again, we're not talking about the emotion. We're not talking about what you think this means. Well, we will eventually, but not in our second stage. So in the image, The Persistence of Memory, Dali, his use of line and space is quite predominant. Line is used in the horizon to divide the background clearly. It focuses the eye to gaze in the middle and the foreground. So basically, you are using your understanding of the elements and principles. You're looking at your image, and you're dissecting how those elements and principles are in fact helping create and sort of navigate the audience through this piece. So again, you are going to go through your elements and principles. You're going to pull out the most predominant things, and you're going to focus on that. Proper paragraph, once again, full sentences. This will be, like I said, no point form whatsoever. I will send it back to you. You're gonna have to redo it if that is something that you do complete in that way. Stage 3 is interpretation. This is where you tell me what you think the artist is in fact trying to say. So it is the idea that what message, excuse me, what message do you think the artist is trying to articulate to its audience? Now, the key thing here, there isn't a right or a wrong. Because what we've learned and what we've kind of concluded is that everybody approaches art with their own perspective, with their own lens, based and from their own experience. So what one person may think is the art is the message, someone else may totally agree. But here's the kicker. Both could technically be right, as long as it is supported accordingly. So you can't necessarily say, oh, well, I think it's about sheep and elephants because that's what I think. Right? So again, we're going back to the idea. You have an opinion, it has to be supported. Tell me why you feel that way. Tell me why you think that way. And that, in fact, will gain full marks for interpretation. And then 4, which is our last stage, it's evaluation. You need to articulate whether or not you feel the piece is successful. Now, understand something. You don't necessarily have to like it, and that's okay. Part of art is actually deciding what you like and deciding what you don't. So it's okay not to like something, but again, it's just the justification. So what makes this piece successful? Is it the artist's sort of use of color? Is it the artist's way of sort of drawing or creating sort of movement or repetition within the piece, kind of holding on to the audience's attention or the viewer's attention? What makes this piece successful? What makes this piece not successful, if that's how you feel? Key thing is, though, we're not going back and forth. So it's either successful or it is not successful. So we don't want to just keep kind of wishy-washy back and forth. We want a strong position, a confident stance, and we sort of use our vocabulary, our terminology to support the stance of which we take. So I'm going to stop sharing and hopefully this switches over easily. I'm hoping it does. All right. Sorry guys, just trying to get back here. Perfect. Okay, it worked. So I hope that was a little helpful just in regards to some clarification, because I know with this particular unit, the emphasis is really on sort of the 4 stages, and then we move on to your portraits. So I completely understand the reluctance. I mean, I get reluctance every time I do this unit. It doesn't have to be a clear sort of application of your portrait, right? So some of the examples I use, it could be distorted. It could be aspects of you. It doesn't have to be sort of this like Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci type of perfect image of yourself, because I know it's hard for people. I know it can be very, very uncomfortable to do that. So by no means is that the expectation. You are creating using sort of the concepts, the apps that we've been using, the filters we've been using, the editing that you now know how to do, and you can distort it and edit and filter as you wish. And then you take your 4 stages that you would have already gotten back with feedback, etc., and you apply it to your own art piece. And sometimes it can be super easy to be your own critic because we're always more critical of ourselves than other people will be. Sometimes it can be easier, sometimes a little harder. But the idea is that you know what you're trying to say, and it's about now that you're looking at your piece when you're done, how successful do you feel you were in articulating that message in sort of that way. So again, keeping in mind that these are art pieces that I see only. So no worries about that. I don't take them and share them with everybody, I promise. But again, just looking sort of for that connection with the artist, as well as the drawing in of that viewer as well. So I'm hoping this was helpful. Looking to see if anybody joined in. I don't think anybody joined in, so hopefully you guys are okay and not struggling, you're not having any or too many questions, and if so, then just send me a quick email. All right, guys, happy creating, and we'll talk soon.